The Atlanta Falcons have officially quit on Raheem Morris. And if you don't believe me, one former Falcon reposted something yesterday on his X account that proves the team is completely done with him. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit, Falcons fans, but welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. I want to start today's episode with what Taryn Wack, my homegirl, had to say about what Raheem Morris said after the game was over against the New York Jets. He said, there were some missed ops throughout the day, meaning missed opportunities. But you know what? I'm going to take this in a different context. If we're talking about ops, Raheem, you are literally the number one op of this team. You find ways to make this team worse every single week. And that is not an opinion. That is not Moose just digging deep into his soul to find an opinion or a take. That's just fact. You beat the Jets in every statistical category yesterday. Every single one. Total yards, first downs, third down. Okay, so you didn't beat them in third downs. Beat them in penalties, beat them in time of possession, and you still lost the football game on a 56-yarder in the rain. I can't express to you that this team needs change. You know it. I know it. So let's be the voice of change today on this episode. 600 likes. If we can get 600 thumbs up on this episode, it goes a long way to letting me know, at least, that you want change, that you want new ownership, you want new coaches, and ultimately, you want a new Falcons team. So do me a favor and hit that thumbs up icon. Ray McLeod was the player that reposted this, by the way, yesterday on his X account. And Luis Suarez said that Raheem lost the team since he got rid of Ike Hilliard and Ray. And Ray McLeod reposted this. Now, you could look at this one of two ways. You could say this is just Ray being petty, and maybe that's a little bit of truth. But I think a larger statement still lies with the fact that when Raheem Morris got rid of Ike Hilliard, that was the beginning of the end in losing the locker room. The Falcons lose all these games really close. Only 2 blowout losses the entire year. One to the Carolina Panthers in week 3, and then to the Miami Dolphins. Every other game has been this close. And bad teams find ways to lose football games. Good teams find ways to win football games. It is abundantly clear that the locker room is over Raheem. They've quit on the season, and that tweet from Ray McLeod is just more added proof. So I'm going to break down a little bit more here about what we saw yesterday from the New York Jets, including the special teams woes, Mike Hughes and how he needs to be cut pretty much immediately, and Michael Penix's problem, or the Falcons' problem with Michael Penix Jr., because another thing became abundantly clear to me yesterday ever since we've seen Kirk Cousins under center. So let's start with the special teams. The Falcons are the worst special teams team in the entire NFL. They're allowing 29.8 yards per kickoff return. Dead last in the NFL. Wait a minute, Moose. It can't be that bad. Oh, no, it is. It is. They gave up 10 points yesterday. That is the reason you actually lost that football game yesterday, was because your special teams is so piss poor. You need to fire Marquise Williams today. No, not at the end of the season, not if another game goes bad. Like today at your press conference, there better be at least an announcement that this man is gone off the team. He doesn't know how to coach. And what's even worse, speaking of coaching, going back and looking at it, not just from a special teams perspective, because Raheem hired him, is the coaches that we interviewed before we hired Raheem Morris. Vrabel, Johnson, MacDonald, Harbaugh, all of them, success. Not Raheem. Hell, we could have even had Bill Belichick, who probably isn't going to be nearly as good as these 4, but a hell of a lot better than Raheem effing Morris. Every single Falcons fan, if you are a true fan, was perfectly caught up in the moment when Mark Zinno talked about this football team, one of the beat reporters for the Falcons. And here's what he had to say specifically about the Falcons. And this just completely sums up exactly what the Falcons are. They lose again. It's everything. The coaching is inconsistent to awful. The execution from players is failing in the big moments. The drops yesterday from Darnell Mooney and David Sills. The special teams is abhorrent. The flaws seem endless. It's all organizational. Much of it is at the team level. None of it is good. And you lost to the tanking Jets. The Jets, who are actively trying to lose football games, to rebuild their entire program from the ground up. You lost to the Jets. That's it. That's all I've got to say about the special teams and the coaching in this episode. Now on to the players. Let's talk a little bit more about Mike Hughes, who I believe needs to be benched for the remainder of the season. And trust me, there are some statistics that you're going to see that are eye-popping and not in a good way. But before we break those down, got to tell you about my friends over at Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And the holiday season is here, the best time of the year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening all at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every single day on what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right, and that is on Prize Pick. New feature alerts. Prize Picks now has early payouts. So if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. And speaking of games, I've got a lineup for tonight's Monday Night Football matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Football Giants. Took the more on Drake May, the more on Jackson Dart, who's coming back out of concussion protocol, and Young Ho Koo. Just kidding, Young Wei. Young Wei Koo gets that less on the kicking points there. The reason I bring this up is because yours can look like mine. Doesn't necessarily have to. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So let's start with the route concept tree and the route charts for Adonai Mitchell, who was primarily going head-to-head against Mike Hughes. And I did the deep dive. I did the homework. So Adonai Mitchell had 102 receiving yards, 8 receptions, and 1 touchdown. But specifically on Mike Hughes, he had 7 receptions for 97 yards and 1 touchdown when he was lined up across from Mike Hughes. Next-gen stats don't lie. Mitchell tied for the most receptions and fourth most yards of any wide receiver against a single defender in a game this season. No, not against the Falcons, against any team in the NFL. Tied for the most receptions and 4th most yards of any wide receiver against a single defender in the 2025 NFL season. Moosey slipped. It was wet for everybody. Find your fucking footing. You're an NFL veteran. Stop. Oh, but it gets worse, by the way. According to Next Gen Stats, Tyrod Taylor's 52-yard touchdown pass to Adonai Mitchell, where Mike Hughes slipped and fell. Oh, darn, that little banana peel that Mario threw, had a 25.6% chance of completion when that ball left his hand. Unfortunately, after Mike Hughes slipped and fell, that 1 in 4 shot connected. It's just comical at this point. Start D. Alford. Start Kobe Bryant. Move off of Mike Hughes. He's too old. He just does not do a good enough job consistently. He gives up big play after big play after big play. He sucks. And you've got a young kid that is itching to prove what he's got in Kobe Bryant. UDFA out of Kansas. Just play him. You got nothing else to lose for the rest of the season. What, you think you can make the playoffs now? Get a grip. You have no shot. You have no shot. I want to end today's episode by breaking down some individual performances and what I like to call the Michael Penix Jr. problem. So we're going to start up here and work our way down to why this is ultimately an indictment on Michael Penix Jr. Kirk Cousins was 21 of 33 for 234 and a touchdown yesterday. Kyle Pitts had his best game of his entire season, 7 receptions for 82 yards. And Bijan had 28 total touches, 193 yards, and 1 touchdown. When Kirk Cousins is under center, the offense looks different. It does. We have now a 3-game sample size, and if we can kind of eliminate the Miami Dolphins game, this actually has the workings of a competent offense. And this is without Drake London. There's no Drake London. And we're moving the football. We're scoring points. It looks completely different when Penix is under center and when Kirk is under center. Now, maybe if you're a Penix believer, maybe it changes under a new offensive coordinator. But wow, it looks so vastly different. We counted the plays in the pistol. 7 against the Jets. 7. This doesn't even count plays that were starting in the pistol and then shifted to the shotgun after an adjustment by Kirk Cousins at the line of scrimmage. It's clear that the Zach Robinson pistol offense is tailored for Michael Penix Jr.'s deficiencies. Whether that be because of his limited mobility, whether that be because of the injuries, it doesn't matter. It's a completely different looking offense. But that doesn't mean I'm sold on Kirk Cousins. I think you dump Kirk at the end of the year because you save $35 million towards the cap in 2026. Here's what you got to do. Go sign another quarterback or draft one in 2026. Sign or draft. You got to add another quarterback alongside Michael Penix. I don't think you can get rid of Penix in 2026, but there's got to be at least some quarterback competition because you cannot roll with the exact same offense that Penix had last year. First of all, it's too predictable. Second of all, it's a matter of time before Penix gets injured again. So before I end today's episode, what should be the Falcons' plan at the quarterback position? I just gave you mine. I dump Kirk, let him go off and be a bridge somewhere else. Maybe it's back in Minnesota. They don't have any quarterback that is worth a damn over there right now. But you dump Kirk, you save $35 million, and then you either sign somebody or you draft a quarterback, and you just ride out the rest of the season, and then you play for the 2027 draft where you have another first-round pick. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. This team has no future. But I'm going to continue to do my job every single day and bring you Falcons content. So hit that subscribe button. It's going to be fresh, it's going to be entertaining, and it is going to be informative. Just waiting for the day when we get the Raheem Morris is fired headline. That's all for us on this episode of Falcons Today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like today's video. Rise up and be cool.